Welcome back to another Ark Nova strategy guide. This time I'll be sharing a game I played recently and my thought process for all the important decisions, including how to avoid some common pitfalls. By the end, you'll have a solid understanding of how to form a winning game plan. So I've started with the restaurant map, and I want to fill out the spaces around it as soon as possible. So that's going to be an early goal of mine. Now for my cards, I've got the side entrance, which is one of the best cards to start out with, so I'm going to keep that. I don't have any reptiles, so although the sponsorship reptiles is a good card, I'm not going to keep that. And there's no reptiles in the base conservation projects either. The base conservation projects are Americas, Europe, and primates. So I'll be looking for those early. I'm not going to keep basic research because it requires an upgrade on sponsors. The macaw is one of the best starting animals because it has posturing 3, so it can get me a lot of kiosks early without spending any build actions on them. And I have 3 Americas animals here, so if I get the partner zoo of Americas, then I will have 4 Americas, and then I can support this Americas conservation project. So that's going to be my early game plan. Alternatively, you could start with the Barnell as well because it is Europe, and I could go for the 2 Europe icons. I'm going to start with the cards action because it started on 5. I found some more good cards. The Federal Grants is good to start off with, and Breeding Program for Birds is also very good, so I'm going to discard the Turtle. Early in the game, you want to play sponsor cards as soon as you can, so I'm going to play my sponsors at strength 3. I play my side entrance here because it has 4 open spaces adjacent to it, so I can put 4 buildings next to it and get 2 income for each of them. There's no other space on this board that I can do that early in the game before I upgrade build, and it also gets me close to the restaurant, so I can surround the restaurant after I surround the side entrance. Next, I build a one-size enclosure, planning to build my Scarlet Macaw. Now I need to do association for the Americas Partner Zoo so that I can play my macaw. My opponent used their sponsor's action to break for 5, so they're able to trigger a break next turn. That means that I can't afford to take a build action right now, which I would want to do so that I could play 2 animals at once. Instead, I just need to play my Scarlet Macaw in case they take a cards action and trigger a break, so that my income will be a lot higher if they decide to trigger a break. I use the posturing 3 to play 2 kiosks next to my side entrance and a pavilion next to the kiosk and the side entrance, maximizing my income for the next round. I'm already at 22 income. I could trigger a break and get an X token by playing my cards action now, but I'd have to discard down to my hand size of 3, so I wouldn't be gaining any cards. And also I want to surround my restaurant for more income. So I'm going to build. They triggered a break, so I'm going to draw some cards. I drew 2 good animals, especially because the Mandrill has 2 primate icons, which goes well with the primates base project, and I don't like release projects early, so I'm going to discard the release project. I already have a breeding program, which is better in the early game. I'm going to continue building around my restaurant for more income and so that I can play 2 animals in my next animals action. It's always good to be able to play 2 animals at once with your animals action for efficiency. For the next association action, some people would support the Base Conservation Project Americas, and that would let them either take another association worker immediately or get 5 income or one of these other ones. But I'm going to wait until after the next break so that I can support it and get an extra conservation point. I'm going to take the Africa Partner Zoo because I have 2 Africa animals. It'll give me a card upgrade, the same as the supporting conservation project would. And then I'm going to upgrade association so that I get access to this part of the partner zoo track. That way I can unlock my second association worker in the next round, and then I'll be able to support Americas for 3 conservation points in the next round before the third break. It'll also get me access to cheap donations. If I had 4 reputation, then I would probably upgrade animals before association, because playing animals at strength 5 would get me another upgrade. So it'd kind of be like I upgraded animals for free, and then the next time my association got back to 5, then I would be able to play it upgraded. So I wouldn't lose out on anything. But my reputation is still at 1. Now I'm going to play my 2 animals. The Hippo lets me play Sponsor's action for free this round, which will trigger the break. And that's kind of good because I can deny my opponent playing their animals and gaining some income. Now I can take an association action for a partner zoo and get my second worker like I planned. Next I finish building around the park restaurant, and I have a space for my South American Coati. And I'm going to play the Coati immediately instead of taking an action for cards first, because if I play cards, that'll add 2 break, and then my opponent would be able to sponsor his break for 5 and trigger the break, which I don't want them to do before I play my animal. Playing cards or sponsors right now would trigger the break, and I don't want to do that while I still have my second worker unused. So I'm going to spend my 2 X tokens and do an association at strength 5 so that I can support the Americas 4 here. I upgrade animals next so that I can start working towards my upgrade on. And for the bonus, I take enclosures because I have a lot of income. Normally I would take the 5 money first, but this is going to be better tempo-wise. It's going to save me some build actions. So I'm going to take the 2 size enclosure here. I also do another donation, which gets me to 5 conservation points, and I can either get a free building, 3 X tokens, or 5 money, and I'm going to take the X tokens. Having the X tokens gives me a lot of flexibility, and I'm definitely going to need them later, and I don't have a good plan to use the 3 size enclosure or the extra money. Now that I've finally done everything I need to do in this round, I can trigger the break by playing cards. And there's a lot of primates in the row here that I want to use. So I'm going to snap something up, and I choose to snap up the sponsors since I don't have any sponsors, and I'll be able to play the primates directly from the row because I have upgraded animals if I need to. I want to get this brown spider monkey before my opponent does, so I can build a 4 size enclosure here for it, and it'll cover up this free card draw space so that I can pick it up. This sponsorship requires a primate, which I don't have yet, so I need to play animals first, and I'm going to use one of my X tokens so that I can get the reputation. And since I'm playing the inventive monkey, I'm going to get the X token right back, and the max is 5 X's anyway, so it would have been wasted. Now I can play the primate sponsorship so that my association goes to 5. I spend 4 X tokens on my association action for strength 9. This way I can do a university and support a conservation project in the same turn. This is one of the strongest turns possible, using your X tokens to do 2 strong association actions in the same turn. And it also lets me use both of my workers before my opponent triggers another break. I support my bird breeding program, and I get the 3 X's over here. Since I don't need the money, I have very high income, so I'm going to just take the X token so that I have more flexibility. This puts me up to 8 conservation points, and I'm going to take 2 reputation to get another card upgrade. I choose build for my 3rd upgrade. It would also be reasonable to upgrade cards here to gain access to this part of the reputation track and these bonuses. But I'm going to do build for the action efficiency so that I can build multiple things. I took the hand size University so that when I trigger the next break with my next cards action, I can keep all of my cards. I have 2 primates, and I need 1 more to be able to play the Mandrill. I don't want to play the Tarsier because it will cause a break. My opponent already did a break for 5, and I don't want to cause another break because he'll have enough money if I do that, and I already have more than enough money. I also have more unused workers, so I want to play the Japanese Macaque and the Mandrill. Since my build is on 5 and my animals is on 4, I'm just going to spend 3 X tokens to build both of their enclosures in one action. I need the Asia Partner Zoo so I can play these monkeys, and it also gives me 2 conservation points. I got to 10 conservation points, so now I need to discard one of my private goals. I'm guaranteed at least 2 conservation points, well, exactly 2 conservation points with the large animal zoo, so I'm going to keep that one. I didn't really find any aquatic animals, so I'm not going to be able to get to more than 2 conservation points with this. These didn't affect my gameplay very much, except that I did prioritize the brown spider monkey so that I could get at least 2 large animals. Now I can play my 2 monkeys, scoring a bunch of points and setting me up to take the 5 primates conservation project. I draw 2 cards looking for more options. I build to draw another card and to get closer to filling out my zoo. I didn't find any useful cards, so I'm just going to play the zebra and the mountain tapir. They give me a decent amount of points. So now I have 2 X tokens and a few different options. I can spend an X token and play the Tarsier and the Ibex. The problem with that is that they both have jumping, so that would trigger the break, and I don't want to do that. I could spend both my X tokens to do a build 5. I could cover these 2 spaces, this space, and these 2 spaces. This would let me play a sponsor card by paying its cost in money. I could play the Barred Owl Hut, which is a 3-space special building, which I could put right here, and that would fill up my zoo, giving me the 7 appeal here, and also 5 more appeal because I have a side entrance. So that'd be a pretty good turn. The last option I have is I could do an Association 5 and support primates. That would give me 5 conservation points here. I could donate for a 6th conservation point, and I could actually take the Association Worker, which is my last Association Worker, giving me a 7th conservation point. And since I have 81 points here, and it plays until 100 on Board Game Arena, you can see the score track here. That will be enough to end the game. And since I have a decent lead, I'm just going to end the game instead of getting the 12 points from filling out my zoo. It would actually be 13 because I could build a pavilion. Alright, that's the end of the game. A pretty fast-paced game, lasting only 28 turns. Here's my ending tableau here. I only found 3 decent sponsor cards, which is not very many, but the side entrance, starting with that alone, is definitely good enough. And I found enough primates to get primates 5, which is quite fortunate. So to recap, starting with the early side entrance and surrounding it with 4 different buildings was very good. I never struggled for money for the rest of the game. I also surrounded the restaurant. And I focused on supporting the base conservation projects at pretty high values, the 4 and the 5, and also used a breeding program. I went up the Partner Zoo track to get my first upgrade and my second Association Worker. I had to upgrade Association first in order to do that, which gave me all the donations. I upgraded Animals next, allowing me to play animals from this row, which was quite helpful because I didn't have a lot of good animals in hand at times. Then I upgraded build, which allowed me to do this nice build 8 action, which built my 2 big enclosures and allowed me to be very action efficient. I also took the X tokens when I had the option, including when I got to 5 conservation. I took the X tokens as a bonus. I was also able to use a bunch of X tokens to do a Association 9 action to get a university and support a conservation project on the same turn, which is very good. You should definitely look for opportunities to spend your X tokens like that. One thing that I could have done better is if I had calculated perfectly how many points I would get from my last association action, the 7 conservation, and noticed that I had 2 X tokens. I could have saved an action by just leaving build here and not taking that build action. And then I could use my X tokens for the association action, and then I could have played 2 animals. And if I had calculated all that out, that would have been like exactly enough to end the game. So I could have ended the game 1 turn faster if I had calculated everything. So towards the end of the game, you want to calculate and plan out your last few actions, and it can really sneak up on you. Also check if your opponent is close to ending the game, and close can be, 30 appeal away from ending the game, so, or 10 conservation points. So keep that in mind. All right, those are all the thoughts I have for today. I hope you found this helpful, and if you haven't seen it already, you can check out my previous Ark Nova strategy guide. I made 4 tier lists to help you evaluate different cards and when to upgrade your action cards. Thanks for watching.